Well, morning, EquinEdge family. It's afternoon, though, and I just screwed up and put coffee and handicapping in our background. So that's why I'm telling you it's good morning. But it's really good evening. Action hour here. I got my boy Brady. You did double duty again, brother, I heard.
Yeah. Round 2 tonight. And so, good talking to all you guys about racing. And here we are. Now it's dark out, so I might have to have a little coffee, but I got something else in my cup.
I changed the background. I can do it. I could do it on the fly. Look at that. All right. So how was Del Mar this morning? You did Del Mar? Is that what you did?
Yeah, we did Del Mar, and Del Mar was hitting bombs. I did some economical tickets. We did a $24 pick 5 and then like a $48 one. And they had a 22-to-1 shot and a 35-to-1 shot. 55-to-1. The 3-horse won one of the later legs. And the pick 5 paid like $192,000 for
Really?
The pick 4 paid $170,000. I've never seen a pick 4 pay that much.
$170,000? Wait a minute here. At Del Mar?
At Del Mar today. Yeah. Unbelievable. I didn't hit it, but I mean, it was a tough one to get to. And then in the pick 6, I just watched the last race. 4 horses were live to $2 million.
Wow. That was like, when Scotty would play the $2, dude.
Oh, yeah.
So the 3, SoCal Red, 2%er, wasn't a 1%er, and a maiden claimer.
Look at these exotic payouts in race 5. I mean,
in race 5?
Insane. Yeah. Then go to the payouts. Look at that.
Wow, dude. Okay,
so pick 4. I mean, if you would have singled that 5-horse with Rispoli and Doug O'Neill, my gosh, I mean, a couple of all buttons, $170,000 later.
So the 3 was 55-to-1, and there was the 5, and then it kicked.
That was a horse we used, the 5. The 1 horse, they added blinkers for the first time. Look at the EE morning line on the 1. 6-to-1.
Oh,
look at the price that you got.
Long shot, dude.
Yep.
Dude, like, I mean, this is crazy. This is
all button away from $170,000. Like, that's how close this was.
Wow. I mean, you would have had to.
Let's go to the ticket generator on the pick 4. Let's just go to the ticket generator and put in like $100. And I'm just curious because if you're a firm believer in including Scotty Longshot, and so 6 in the 8 there plus a Scotty Longshot. The 5 we were definitely using. I think I went too deep in this leg.
Let's single and see what it does.
Wow.
It doesn't quite get there.
Not
it's close.
3 in race 4.
Yeah, it's only going to get to that. Yeah, I mean, it's only going to get there. I'm guessing you got to play like $200.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah,
196. That is ticket structuring if you were able to like single the 5 there, because that's how you really make money on your non-favorite horses. So I always like it if you can single like a 6 or 7-to-1 shot that you think should be the favorite, and then spread around it and hope that you don't get chalk coming in.
I'm the same way. Like I love playing that way. I mean, that's how you get paid. I mean, this is
a $200 win bet on that horse versus trying to get a bomb. Now, here's the thing. Your horse might win, and then 3 chalks might win, and the pick 4 might only pay $50. But, at the same time, I mean, I would never advise someone to play a huge, like, spread ticket like that. But, like, if you could play it for $80 if you really liked your horse and you were confusing the other sequences, I mean, dude, 1 all button would almost get you there. That's craziness. Congrats to whoever hit it. I bet it was one of our followers.
Oh, my AirPods are working. That's crazy. I almost hit a pick 4 for $50,000. That was one of the highest ones I've ever seen. I didn't hit it though, so it didn't really matter. But
oh man.
So who do we have tonight? Something happened to Cindy. So what's the deal? Like everybody's wishing her well. I hope you're all right, Cindy. You're saying you got released. Something must have happened. Welcome, John, Keith, Cindy, Julie, Junior. Junior said he had the 3. He had the 1 in the second race and got beat in the third. Ran second in the third. Oh, the 5.
Rough.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Ross said, I'm not going to brag about this, but I did have the 2 long shots. I just didn't play the pick 4 and the pick 5. Yeah, Ross, I mean, I'd be curious. The 1 actually is, I bet these horses all the time.
Oh, yeah, the 1's a Justin horse all day.
Yeah, well, and
that
it's
is
Scotty,
a Justin patented horse.
I mean, it's Scotty Longshot, which I love, and you're getting 6-1 and it's 12%. Like, wow, I mean, this is crazy, the value. You get 22-1 on that horse. You know, I mean, it's like, well, what happened? And like, I don't really know, but I mean, that's just crazy value right there. 6 didn't even hit the board. What'd the exacta pay here? Yeah, 316-1. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Look at the 7.
I haven't seen something like that in a long time. I mean, this is craziness on a Thursday. That's a pool scooper. I mean, that pick 4 had to be a pool scooper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, or if not, it was like a couple tickets probably. Welcome, Lexi. It's good to see you. I'm glad you tuned in. The 11 in the last race got hammered down. Bill said, Brady, you need a refresher when to use and not use certain EquinEdge algos. Delmar's 7th was not a race to focus on GSR, which is what you did. You tossed the Scotty Longshot within moments of seeing its GSR. It's tough, though.
Race 7 today?
It's tough, though. Was it a Scotty Longshot day? The 4 got second. It was on the turf.
I tossed the 7.
Rahika.
And I didn't toss him because of the low GSR. And so I tossed him because he was claimed off of Saffy Joseph. That's why I tossed the 7 horse. I rarely see horses improve after they leave that barn.
Mm-hmm. Big drop, but like, the horse, and then the horse won. Wow. I mean,
I said he likes going 11 furlongs. So he's a long distance specialist.
I mean, in the races like this, the 5, I mean, you could see Warden Jerry as 1 at a 63. I mean, was of course the favorite, but only 19%. I mean, that's where
went with the 5 and the 8 there. I went with Warden Jerry and then 7 Charms.
Yeah, these 11 furlong and 12 furlong races can be tough. I mean, they really can. 4 was the pace setter. 2 is supposed to be the pace setter.
And I like looking at horses that have proven themselves at these distances too. I hate taking a horse. Now, Rajeka has proven herself at these distances, but I will toss those horses that have only ever gone a mile or maybe a mile and a 16th. Now that they're trying to stretch out to something like a mile and a half, I mean, that's a big jump up.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So, how was Arlington?
Oh my God, it was awesome. I wanted to hit the pick 5, the pick 6, the pick 4. I mean, we wanted to hit it all. We won 9 out of 10 races. We got to meet so many EquinEdge followers. We met Chrissy, we met Nathan, we met Oldie, and a bunch of others. I mean, this was so much fun to see everybody there at what we think is the last Arlington Million. And I mean, we took the whole day in. Went up with my buddy Greg and Eric and Greg's wife and kids, and we just had one heck of a day, man. It almost ran the whole car. The only horse that didn't win was Domestic Spending. Who would have thought? James Graham goes out 26, 52-2 to the half mile, walks the dog on the front end, and Domestic Spending ran fast coming home. But you can't really blame him.
She wasn't.
I don't blame Flavian for the trip. He kept Domestic Spending closer than that horse has ever been to a pace. And so he did everything right. It was just not his day.
It was his day. What race was that? That was like my Shanistra, right?
Yes,
we didn't. Yeah, we only went off as the favorite. I was so bummed. I think I It was the only bet I bet all weekend, other than I split a couple tickets with my buddy. He put them together, but I think I bet $250 to win on her there, which was nice that she won. She won by a couple lengths. I actually watched the race, I think, but yeah, that was a bummer. What else happened here? Because I know we looked at.
I singled Santa Barbara like the
Oh,
living daylights out of her, and so I know I talked to Oldie about it. He liked Mean Mary. I like Santa Barbara, and I'm like, man, I love the turn of foot that this horse has, and she really showed it. I played some hammer tickets. I had $100 pick 4 going. I still have the ticket; it's on the counter, but I don't want to look at it. And it ending, with domestic spending and another mystery. We had a $25 pick 5, and then my buddy Greg was going to cash the pick 6. He had a $50 pick 6. Oh. Even if the pick 6 pays $80, I mean, that's paying 20 grand. And so, I mean, and he did it on a very, very low denomination. And so the other races, Richie's in the house. That was just a class ride by Loveberry.
So Saez what happened here?
Oh, Saez gave him all the trouble on the 6, all the trouble you could ever imagine.
And, what was Greg's play again? Was it 8-2?
8 over the 2 over the 1-4-6.
Yeah, and I think we talked. I think I was going to play an 8-2-4 Cold. I didn't end up playing it, but the 6 disrupted the whole thing with Louis, huh?
Yeah, it really did, and Louis got extra out of that horse, and so he was the deciding factor, I think, and he gave Loveberry all he could handle. That was a really impressive ride, and I think Ravelli's only win on the day, and so that was good. I know I hammered the 8 over the 2 exacta, but unfortunately, the track was actually playing very favoring speed. On these big days, it seems like the track's just juiced up a little bit. I hate using that word in horse racing. It's not the best word to use. It was souped up, not juiced.
Keith said he should have. Yeah, another mystery. I know that was that horse. I think that looked like a single too, Keith, and I think people struggled there. Michael, thanks for joining. So I think Oldie got beat in the race at Santa Barbara when you were talking about that, Brady. Oldie was all over Mean Mary, huh? He said Santa Barbara wasn't going to hit the board.
Oh, I like supporting the American horses as much as I can, but I also like cashing tickets even better. And so, yeah, Mean Mary's game, and for her to beat Mean Mary, let's think about who Mean Mary has gone toe to toe with in the past. Rushing Fall. I mean, horses like that. So for her, Santa Barbara, as a 3-year-old, to be able to put away Mean Mary like that, super impressive. And so I cannot wait to see Santa Barbara face Althik and Warlike Goddess in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf. Not to mention, Mishriff just dusted a field yesterday against Love and Alcohol Free and company. And so I hope that Gosden sends over Mishriff for either the Classic or the Turf. I don't know he will. I'm not counting on it, but we'll see. I'd love to try to take that horse down.
That was over across the pond?
Yeah, they're racing in York this week. Golden Powell actually races tomorrow. So I'm excited to see that. Yeah.
Is it early in the morning?
Yeah, it's. I don't know what time it's going off. Sun's probably not up where you're at by the time this race is going on.
Well, I'm gonna be up early tomorrow. I might have to. TVG always have, and never played on the computer, but they're nice. And totally sidetracking. And for viewers, the races weren't up in the system, and they're half up now or something for Saturday. So Brady and I were I
think they got them up now. I saw Del Mar. Yeah,
but I remember. For Royal Ascot, and I can't wait till we can use EquinEdge for Royal Ascot, but that is one of the most fun racing to watch. It's early in the morning, really cool atmosphere, just great racing.
What I like about racing overseas is sometimes you get these 25 horse fields, 25 horses. And think about the value you get in a trifecta or an exacta, or even your win place. And so, that's really cool to see. I don't think, we get a big field for us is 12. So
I know, right? Outside of the Derby. Yeah. What, Santa Barbara won.
This one was cool. point by me. I had 2 tickets going. I had a $100 pick 4 with just the 2 and the 6, and then a $50 pick 4 with the 1 and the 8. So I felt pretty covered. Then we get Nathan's talking to Ravelli. Ravelli said he liked the 9 horse better than the 8. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I looked at the board. The horse was 6-1. The one that I had was 13-1. I'm like, oh no, Ravelli's probably pounding this 9 horse. And he goes right to the lead. And I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. E.T. Baird Ravelli on the lead. But Saez on the Keneally horse was just way the best.
There's my notes. I knew this horse could improve for Keneally.
Mm-hmm.
And I just haven't been playing. I mean, I wish I would have played. Yeah, I wish I would have played a 3. The pick 3 here, the 3 into Santa Barbara into the 6. What did the pick 3 play? All I did was bet the 3 to win. Pick 3 paid $13 for 50 cents, 26-1. That would have been my hammer ticket, like you. $100 there. That would have been $1,300. Wow. And then the 9th was.
So it was the Million.
2 Emmys. It was. I did watch this race. Luckily, I barely caught it, but I mean, good for James Graham. I mean, he, like you said, he went 26 and then 52. I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, domestic spending, and then you're right. I mean, Flavian tried to get there. I mean, she tried to come, but it wasn't going to happen. Or he, I guess I keep calling her she, but he tried to come and like. It just wasn't going that slow at that slow of a pace. Like 2 Emmys had plenty left in the tank.
Yeah. And you can't discredit Flavian one bit. The one thing I've noticed about domestic spending, and let me preface this first before I get to my point. I still think domestic spending is by far the best turf horse in America. I really do, especially going, 9 or 10 furlongs. I don't think there's anybody better. But the one thing I've noticed is it takes a very long time for this horse to find his stride. Yeah. But once he finds it, he gobbles up the ground. So let's think about his previous races. If we go 2 back to Churchill Downs, we were watching the race. Colonel Liam was clear by 5. And then Flavian finally gets out in the last 16th, kind of like Santa Barbara did. He had all the trip trouble in the world. He gets out, and then he barely gets up for a dead heat. Had he gotten that horse going any sooner, he would have won for fun. And then I got to think about, what was it here? The Hollywood Derby at Del Mar. He barely gets up. And, Bricks and Mortar would never win that impressively. Bricks and Mortar just did enough to win, and that was it. So that's why I was comparing this horse to Bricks and Mortar. And even if we go back to the August 15th race of last year, the Saratoga Derby, he only won by a nose or a head. And so he doesn't win impressively. He did it, at the Manhattan. That was his probably most impressive win. But once this horse changes leads, he's unstoppable. I just wonder, did Flavian wait a little too long? Because I didn't think the horse was running out of energy at all. I think he was riding confident because even though James went 52-2 on the front end, domestic spending was never more than 3 lengths out of it. Yeah. I don't care if they're literally walking. I don't see how he didn't get by this horse. 2 Emmys won the race of his life. We can all admit that, right? This was the race of 2 Emmys' life. Everything. I mean, if you run this race 100 times, I think domestic spending probably wins it 95 times. And this was one of the scenarios where Jimmy just goes out and says, catch me if you can. I'm going to slow this thing down. Busy channel. The Ravelli horse didn't break all that clean. So I think that took a little pace out of it. But if they go a half a second slower to 51.5, I think domestic spending wins easily. So
Jay's asking, does Pratt keep riding domestic spending? Everybody knows my opinion, so I don't even have to comment. But what do you think?
I do think so. I don't think that you can mistake Pratt. I think Chad Brown's a pretty reasonable guy. And, a lot of people are saying, well, if Irad was riding domestic spending, he would have gotten him going sooner, I don't know. Conspiracy theorist. I think you leave Pratt up. He did, like I said, I'm the biggest jockey criticizer in the world. Trust me. I can't criticize him, even though he would have changed my life if he would have won.
So what's the word on the street as we end? So it's Arlington. When's the meet end for Arlington?
Late September is, I
Okay.
believe, when. So I think they've got one more month of racing. That will be my last trip up to Arlington. Oh,
And
and then another
then
mystery
is
was,
it
in
yeah,
August.
which looked like the single to me. I was with
Mhm.
my
All those scratches too. I mean, ugh,
and
that's what made the thing not pay.
pick 5 only paid $1,800, but
Yeah.
I mean it wasn't a lot chalky for the
Heck,
most
a,
part. Other than
a $30 win bet on another mystery pays the same thing. So
so what's the word on the street then for the track? Like, is it still TBD or what's
there's a
going on?
couple of
Welcome, Nathan.
rumors. There's a couple of rumors going around. You know, a lot of local trainers. Chris Block was lobbying when the mayor was there. You know, Hugh Robertson, I think, is lobbying. I think everybody's lobbying. It's just if I don't know who is going to end up making this decision. But I heard some people got kicked out of the press box, which wasn't very cool.
Like
Pretty
they
sad.
came up like because it was the last one and like
No, there was reporters and photographers and writers that were trying to upload stuff, and apparently they got kicked out like before they were able to get their work done. So it's a little unfortunate.
Interesting. Well, that's a bummer.
Might shed a tear.
So we talked about covering. Well, so Del Mar. So this what happened? So today at Del Mar, the late pick 5 almost paid. What the pick 6 pay then?
I think
Today.
it paid 35 grand.
Oh yeah. Oh, and then the late pick 5 paid 42 grand. Wow. I mean, I bet from the whole meet, this will be the highest paying card, right? I mean, no doubt. I mean, $150,000 or whatever pick 4 and 200 grand pick 5, and then another 30 or another 42 grand pick 5. Look at that though. So the pick 4 only paid 223 because of that one race. That is insane.
Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. Just shows that, you know, I don't hit on these days, you know, because I can't get myself to spread that much.
Yeah. It's tough. All right. So Saturday, Saratoga up? No, not really. Saratoga, at least for me, I'm still only
if you refresh, I've got all the races at Spa.
Okay. So it's going to be raining, I'm guessing. It's been really yucky, right? We talked about just covering the stakes races, though, at Saratoga and Del Mar. So let's start with Saratoga, if that works. I have done nothing because the stuff wasn't in the tools. So everything for me is going to be on the fly, but that's okay. I like doing it that way sometimes. They have... So that's a maiden.
Have
you looked at all here?
Yes. Race 9 is the Lake Placid Stakes.
Okay. So 8.5 on the small field. Spanish Love Affair. I always love that her name. Just I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I've divorced the Spanish Love Affair. That horse. I've been all over 2 Cassie horses this year, and Spanish Love Affair was one of them, and Ride a Comet was the other. And man, I keep on getting my butt kicked on these horses. You know, they fit. They seem like they should win. Then Spanish Love Affair wins, and she gets DQ'd, and it costs me like $4 grand. But hey, oh well. You know, I guess life goes on. You know, the world keeps on spinning. And Spanish Love Affair keeps on getting bet down to 3-1. And I don't know why. But you do get Santana this time. And is anybody riding better than Luis Saez and Ricardo Santana? I would say no. I don't think anybody's riding better than this pair right now. And Santana's winning at prices, and Luis Saez is winning on mules, on Ferraris, and
he's on fire, man. Yeah.
Oh,
he's not riding in this race though, but
no. So I'm thinking we have to handicap it as if the turf's going to be good or yielding. I think that they'll run this race on the turf unless it's pouring down rain. But I think with the last 2 days, it's been absolutely soaked up there. And so I had a little pick 6 going today up at the Spa, but it would have been nice. Anyway, no woulda, shoulda, couldas. Only what are we going to do next? So I was looking at this race, and I'm trying to beat the Chad Chalk because that's how you get paid at Saratoga, by beating the Chad Chalk. Let's look at this horse. Wins the Lake George, okay? For some reason, we don't have an SOR on that one yet, but I'm thinking the SOR was probably pretty high on that one, at least comparable to the race prior at Belmont. And so this horse is coming out of 82 Company, and I'm looking at the rest of the field on, the races that they've run in. Spanish Love Affair is coming out of mid-70s. You got the Runaway Rumor that's coming out of a 76. You got Ego Trip that's coming out of low 60s. And then the one horse is coming out of an 80, but was never even a presence in the Mother Goose. And so from a pure class perspective, technical analysis is going to be very tough to beat. And I'm trying to figure out how in the world any of these horses does a 2 Emmys and runs the race of their lives and does what James Graham did. And I can't find it right now. And so for me, in a multi-race wager, I know it sounds very boring, but I can't get past the favorite here in technical analysis. I think I might try to find my value elsewhere.
What happened with Ilogami in the Mother Goose? He was in the 5-hole and just, I mean, it's still lightly raced. I mean, can she improve still?
Yeah, I think she could improve, but is her improving even close to touching technical analysis's normal form? And this horse is coming back over from the dirt to the turf, hasn't raced on turf in about a year. And so, and I'm also handicapping it for a good going. And, typically, these European horses run just as good, if not better, when the going is a little muddy. And technical analysis, even as a 3-year-old, has three experiences, actually, 4 experiences, 3 of them, on good or yielding turf, and 1 win when it's been good. And so that says a lot to me. And then, she got overlooked in the betting last time out. And so I really think that this horse is going to be the class of the field, is going to appreciate the softer going. And in a 6-horse field, I couldn't find anybody else that piqued my interest. We know Spanish Love Affair needs Lasix. And so this horse coming over from Ireland has never had Lasix. And so that's an issue I think that we've kind of forgotten in a few races.
Yeah, I don't see Spanish Love Affair. Yeah, I don't see that here. I
tried to make a case for every single one of these horses, Justin, and I couldn't even get there. I mean, this is a walk in the park for Chad. I mean, if the horse breaks out of the gate, I hate to say it. I mean, I know that's what I said for domestic spending, but at least he had to go against some European contingent, Armory, but he didn't really show up either. And, the best out of Illinois and Rebelli, but this race, man, I'm just thinking take your free space. Don't try to get too creative. Don't force yourself to try to beat a horse. Let it come to you. Let the system help you figure out how you can beat these favorites. I mean, if technical analysis is going to be 7-5 and Spanish Love Affair is going to be 3-1, be my guest.
Runaway Rumor is interesting, I would say, only from the perspective of in racing as a 3-year-old. I mean, never race as a 2-year-old and has steadily, it just continues to improve. Here, broke dead last. I mean, I would watch the race on the 4. So, this horse does not break. I guess that's what's happening here. This horse does not break at all. I mean, broke 7th and 10, 7th and 8, 9th and 9. But comes flying. I mean, just crazy. You have Lascano on the turf. But I hear you. You get a 2-1 morning line on the 4. We're 7-2, and the 2 is going to take a boatload of money. Mm-hmm. So for me, and I don't like Spanish Love Affair. Love Struck on Velasquez. I've bet this horse before, probably as a 2-year-old, I would guess. Maybe it would have been nice to get 10-1 there, but didn't run here first off the layoff. I mean, I guess Love Struck could improve, but for Runaway Rumor, raced at Saratoga in the Lake George, and ran 4th, but only lost by about 3 lengths, comes flying at 8 furlongs. You get 8.5 here, which the horse really likes. So to me, that would probably be the horse that I would bet against technical analysis. If you said technical analysis And welcome, Chrissy. If you said technical analysis is not a single, the only thing I say about here with her is, okay, you want to go 8 furlongs. You didn't run at 9 here in an 82, but you did run at 8.5 here in a 68 and kind of romp, but you're getting back to a 78. And you have horses like Runaway Rumor, Love Struck, and Illigami who could improve, would be my only perspective on this race. For me, in the Scotty Longshot's the 3, which has Gaffleone, who I think he's having a good meet on the turf. I feel like every time I look at a turf race, he is racing well. I mean, this horse hasn't even broke his maiden or her maiden. So that's tough. I mean, to drop him in here in a grade 2, I mean, this is probably a nice horse. That is kind of sneaky, though, being Scotty Longshot, right? But I get the 2. I'm not as sold on the 2 as you, though. I for sure think when I look at this, it's 45% in top Scotty pick, but I don't necessarily, I question really what she is, because she couldn't run in an 82, and she did win the Lake George in a 78 and did beat Runaway Rumor, but Runaway Rumor was coming and gets an extra furlong here where technical analysis, I just question her a little bit, so I guess we'll see. And then what's the 10th? Oh, the big one. Look at all these. Look at all my notes. Oh, this is a good race. This is the Alabama. Wow. It's going to be all muddy, though, huh?
Yeah, it is. And I've got a single here. I mean, I think everybody's going to bet Maracuja off of that last performance. I think everybody's going to bet back Malathot, thinking, okay, we're going to give her another shot. She's the best, filly in the country. I'm going with Crazy Beautiful all day long because I see the same thing happening. This is like, what was it? The Oaks race last time out? Not the Del Mar Oaks. What was it called? It was at the CCA Oaks. I see this happening just as before. Clairiere is going to put pressure on Malathot early. Okay. Maracuja is going to sit her race again and wait for Clairiere to be done. Then Maracuja is going to engage Malathot. They're both going to burn each other up going 10 furlongs. This is a long race. And who sits the trip just behind? Crazy Beautiful. I think that Jose Ortiz, and I hate singling McPeak. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I'm going to do it here because I just think that this horse trips out and is going to be the price that you want to bet her at. Because how often are you going to get Crazy Beautiful at 6-1? I mean, she's usually the favorite or the second favorite in most of her races. And so at 6-1, I think that I think Crazy Beautiful is going to be in a perfect spot and at the perfect price. I would rather swallow 6-1 on this horse than try to take a 2-1 on Malathot or Maracuja. And I don't think Clairiere has a chance. I think Irad will engage the pace early. The other horse that I think if Joel was riding, I know he's going to be out west at Del Mar, is Army Wife, but it's just too big of a class jump. She's beaten up on lesser. I mean, we saw her win on Preakness Day. Then she won the Iowa Oaks. Whoop-de-doo. Who cares? Beaten mid-60s fields, low 70s. This is the big leagues.
Yeah.
I get it. She's winning. She's coming from off the pace. I think this is in over her head. I want to like Army Wife. And I do maybe hitting the board if what I think is going to happen with Malathot and Maracuja happens. But Maracuja at 14-1 last time was the time to get her, not when she's probably going to be 3-1. Crazy Beautiful for me.
So, welcome, Mikey. So Jay says the 5 Asias is going to be involved early, which makes sense. I mean, Louis is going to send this horse for Philip Bauer. This is not a 10 furlong route horse. Like, not really. Well, I guess the top GSR is 9 furlongs. So it's interesting here that, has shown speed at 8.5 and 9. Yeah, I could see that. So you're going to have the 5 go, and then you're going to have Clairiere go. But, This is interesting. So Size is going to send, and then you're going to have Clariere, Malathot, Maracuja kind of sitting there. So you think that, like, who's going to go with Played Hard? I mean, I don't see the 5, the 3, and the 6 all like going together.
I think that they're naturally fast. And so last time Malathot was on the lead. And so, I mean, I see this race. I see 5. I see the pace from the 5 as well. And so that's going to inject even more pace into this race. And so I think Clariere sets an even better trip with the 5 going, with the 6. And then Maracuja sitting back, and then Clariere pressing. Because what happened last time is Clariere was just right there with Maracuja. And then when she backed off, Malathot, then when she backed off, Maracuja went up and pressured Malathot and then just outlasted her. And I mean, Malathot had to work as hard as she's ever worked in that last race. Who knows? She might be a little tired. I think Crazy Beautiful, coming off of a couple of game efforts, a couple of easy wins, maybe she just likes winning.
I singled Malathot here, and it was like a pick 5, and obviously lost, and that paid good too. This is a tough race. I'm kind of struggling a little bit here because I've never liked Malathot, and then I singled, and of course she loses when I single her, and like, I mean, she's a nice horse, so it's like, I mean, this was a nice race. I think that Maracuja, I would give somebody 5-1 or 10-1 on this horse. Like, I just don't even see it. I really don't. I think that, she got a nice trip there and like she won, but like, I just don't see Malathot not coming back here. And then with Clariere, Crazy Beautiful. So like from a pace perspective, Sias is going to send. Clariere, I think, was too close to the front. I think Irad has got to work out a better trip here. Like, I don't think that. So you're going to have Malathot and Clariere up front, and then you're going to have Maracuja up there. So it is going to be interesting. Maracuja is going to kind of be in a tough spot, though, sitting in between Clariere and Malathot, and you're going to have the 5 go. So I think Maracuja is going to just have a rough trip. But I'm with you on Army Wife, though. I just don't. I think nobody sees the SOR.
A little in over her head for this. I mean, they got to try, right?
Actually, good point on the track. So let's look at that. So I appreciate that, Mikey. Like, let's look at the wet GSR because I forgot, even though we were just talking about it. So we'll start with Crazy Beautiful. So you're saying Crazy Beautiful is going to love a wet track? Yeah, I mean, it's 74. Wow, look at that, though.
Is it a 91 going 10 furlongs?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. The thing is, on a dirt track, she's at a 74. In overall numbers, she's dropping, but she absolutely the system, and that's a big difference. And like, that could be a small sample size, but that's a really good catch, Mikey. I mean, that makes me like Crazy Beautiful a lot more, even if that's a small sample size. Overall says she's not on the wet, but going wet long, and I would be curious on like what the trips here looked like. I think, Brady, to your point, like, is she going to be able to sit the trip? Sias is going to be trying to fly in the slop, I would guess, on the 5. And Malathot and Clariere aren't going to be far off. I do think Clariere is going to get a good trip. Alex says a 1-3 exacta. That would pay really nice. I think Malathot's a nice horse, though. The 2 definitely, I mean, doesn't love the wet, but we should fare okay. Clariere is going to be just fine on the wet. Maracuja, she improves actually on the wet. Interesting. A little bit like Crazy Beautiful for Maracuja. Maracuja's not even in top Scotties, though. That's not good. Played hard, does not like the wet at all. Look at that. Lowest one of the lowest numbers. Mouth doesn't love the wet either. So who's ran in the slop before? Malthot ran in the slop at Aqueduct and won in a 72. Army Wife has not.
My thing about Malthot is she's ran so many races in a row at a high level that something's got to give. I don't think she's getting better. That's my thing. You know how I love taking a horse that's come out of a lesser that I think's on the improve. And that's what I think about Crazy Beautiful here. And I like trying to beat a horse that is outstanding, but I think has hit their ceiling.
So, Ross, to answer your question, yeah, Lawrence, it would be nice to do a mock race. We don't have that yet. Alex says Ortiz brothers run 1-2. Yeah, I could see it. And who knows what kind of games they're going to play, right? So the highest GSR, Ross, technically could be 100. I have not seen 100 in – I don't think I've seen 100 since the GSR became a single number. Back in when the tool, this was for last year, used to have a dirt and grass GSR, and they would be separate. And you could find where somebody might be 100 on the grass or maybe on the dirt. But a lot of times it would happen more on the grass. And it became a single number, which I think is a much better way to do it. We saw Medina had 99, right? Brady for the Kentucky Derby. And
it was ridiculous. And then Rock Your World had a huge one as well.
Yeah.
Somebody couldn't get their foot in the saddle.
Oh, that's right. Ross, it is an AI algorithm. So it will change as races occur. And so it's a breeding number, right? So genetic strength rating coming from the breeding of it has is it here? Yeah. So there's so it analyzes back 3 generations, sire and dam, and 0 to 100. A 50 is considered average, Ross. So I know, John, you're saying 65 and above, and I'm like, okay, I mean, I get it. That makes sense. Maybe you even say 75 and above. Ross, the big thing that I look for is the differences, though. And once a horse is raced quite a few times, now you can you don't want to disregard the GSR, but you can put less value in it. So it's very important for horses doing first time surface, first time distance, or maiden races. But it's important here too with the GSR plus, which is nice because it talks about, it gives you, when you go into plus, it will give you the wet number. And the system does not adjust for that. So when you see it here, it's just taking the dirt number at 10 furlongs. So I didn't know that Racing Picks did that as well, but it's a great algorithm. I mean, you know it, Brady. I mean, it's like this thing can be spot on sometimes.
And one thing I'll add to what Justin said is we like looking at differences in GSRs. So this is a grade 1. Yeah, you're going to have horses in the 80s. But if we're looking at a maiden claimer, having a 55 or a 60, if you're 10 or 12 points the best, that's a really huge thing to look at. So what I'm saying is looking at differential in GSR versus the rest of the field. So a 60 might be a good number against a lot of cheap horses.
And Ross, when we will always probably until something bigger happens, the Tampa Bay horse that Scotty singled at 20 to 1. Ross, when you see a horse switching surfaces, and we won't see it. Well, let's go back because we'll show the example. So Illigami in race 9 is going from dirt to turf. You don't see a big difference here, but what a good angle that I love is when you get, and I love more dirt to turf, but when you get a big jump in GSR and when you see a drop in GSR. So let's say in this case, you're going from dirt to turf for Illigami. Well, the horse is bred for both sides, meaning that it can run on turf or dirt when you see the numbers pretty consistent. But sometimes you will get a 10, 15 point differential and you can find a huge angle there. And Scotty singled the horse at Tampa Bay in a pick 5 that was a 15 or 20 point increase in GSR and was 20 to 1. And what did he hit? 42 grand or something, Brady, in that pick 5?
something like that.
Yeah. So, DJR, we will do something at Del Mar. I don't. The only
it's going to
reason
be
I
hard
want
at Spa. There might be too many scratches at Spa because if we start giving, I know we definitely want to get to the Del Mar races because it's Pacific Classic as well.
Yeah, so we will DJR. The only thing is the scratches, which is going to be tough. So I'm with you. We'll close up the Spa here. I'm with you on Crazy Beautiful. I think Clariere and Malathot can run. I think Maracuja's not going to run. I think Played Hard, I don't really trust. I don't trust Army Wife. So I'm with you on Crazy Beautiful. A nice little angle with Scotty Longshot, and you could get a price. Ortiz Brothers could go 1-2. Welcome, Mo. So, Junior, in Del Mar Race 2, the top GSR were number 358, got scratched, then had a 10% and 58 GSR. He won the race at 22-1. All others had less GSR. Yeah, we'll look at that for Ross real quick, and then we'll jump to Del Mar on Saturday. So you're saying race 2. Man, I'm struggling. So 819, Del Mar, race 2. So there's the 3 scratched. And the 1 and Scotty Longshot too. And the morning line was huge here. These are the money, like, well, you see, I mean, you bet that horse and get paid 47 to 2. I mean, getting 22-1 and you key a horse like that. I mean, if you do a 1 all exacta and you only have 6 horses and you're getting 316-1, I mean, that's nuts. This was sick. This was pretty insane today. I mean, in the pick 5, I mean, you look in the first race, right? I mean, this race is fairly wide open. I mean, the 1 here is interesting a lot. 32% Scotty Longshot. Morning line is okay. And then here, I mean, and we ran that pick 5, right? I mean, you just had to find the single, which was the 5. But interesting. All right. Saturday. We're going to do late pick 5. Is that what we want to do?
We can do that. I know there's a couple stakes races. We've got the Del Mar Mile. You've got the Pacific Classic. You've got the Del Mar Oaks, which I'm really intrigued with. And then you've got the Del Mar Handicap.
Let's do so we have the Del Mar Oaks, and then we have the Classic, and then it's ending with the handicap. Yeah, let's just do those 3, and we'll let the ticket generator do everything else.
Sure.
Okay.
So race 7 is where that starts, and we get to see some familiar faces, and we get to see a face we haven't seen in a while in Mo Forza, who I'm super excited to see. This horse was awesome just a year ago. Joel is main rider before, and now Flavian's taken them out. But if we look at the damage that this horse was doing, decimating fields. I mean, this horse's late kick was unstoppable. It was Peter Miller's best horse, in my opinion, at the time. And unfortunately, he got hurt, and they tried to, get him back going, just didn't really perform in the Pegasus a year ago, and took a long break, got him going at Del Mar again. I thought they were going to run him in the Breeders' Cup last year, but no dice. Horse hasn't ran since October. It's Peter Miller. I don't care what the works are. He's one of those guys where he can get a horse ready. I think you either single this horse or you use this horse defensively. I don't think you can single a horse like this that has shown us greatness in the past, but now he's a 5-year-old. Who knows if he's the same horse? I really want to key him, though. I really like this horse. If he can just be a glimmer of his past self, I think he can beat this field.
Who's riding? Who's the jockey?
Pratt, man. And so, you get that. I'm surprised Joel's not riding this horse because he was his rider before. And Neptune Storm is in the race. for pace purposes only. Tell me that this one's not in the race for Peter Miller just to inject some pace. I mean, come on. This horse, he's not a grade 2. I mean, he's won a grade 3. He ran the Shoemaker Mile. He's a knock him up type of grade 3. This horse has no business being in here. I think JJ's going to send this one to the front, make sure there's pace with Smooth Like Straight, and it's probably going to set up perfect for Hit the Road. But look who's riding the 2. Your boy.
Yeah, I love this. I don't have the kids this weekend. We're staying home because school, and we've been out of town every weekend all summer. And I'm for sure going to watch Del Mar Saturday because I am so happy that Pratt is at Del Mar, and then seeing that Flo is here. Like, what better can I get as a horse player right now to watch this happen? This is great.
You got Flo going against Pratt, and I am not a Hit the Road fan at all. Like, at all. I don't like the horse. And there's a number of things I don't like about it. So here's what I'm thinking that this race unfolds. I think a closer is going to win this race. I'm on Count Again, the 5, and I'm on the 6, Mo Forza. And if Jose Valdivia was riding next shares, I might even throw him in there as well, but he's not. And so it's Giovanni Franco. I like the way that Valdivia closes with next shares. And so I was going to throw this bomber on there, but I'm not going to. I'm just using Count Again, the 5, and then the 6, Mo Forza. I can, in a deeper ticket, I would probably – I don't think they're going to let Smooth Like Straight win the race. And I love this horse so much. This horse has been so game in all of his efforts. I don't think that Neptune Storm's going to let him have it easy on the front end. I mean, I might be an idiot for not using the 3, but I mean, I can't use every horse in every race. I'm keying the 5 and the 6, mainly the 6. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I'm betting the 2 horse. Not happening. I wish Oldie was on. He's not. Only because I have a note here on this Breeders' Cup race back in November 2019, which was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. And I'm almost positive this is it. For me to put a weak Breeders' Cup race is like, I just – but there was and I think it was the Juvenile Turf, which is why it was a very, very weak Juvenile Turf race, like really bad. Like, I don't even know what happened to everybody who was in it. Well, here's Hit the Road, who I'm sure this is the race. And I look here, and it's not just because it's Flo. It's mainly because of that, because and that's why I wish Oldie was here, because I would watch, like, he knows we've talked about this race a bunch of times. But I look here, I'm like, oh, great, you won an allowance in a 70, and then you won in a 66 and a 72. And okay, great. Maybe you're a late bloomer. You're 4. Okay. Well, then can't run in an 80 in the Maker's Mark. So, and then you add, Mo, the system I think is doing crazy stuff because it just loaded up and it was kind of behind on how it was loading the races. So Hit the Road, and then you add Flo, and it's just, I become very jaded. So with Mo Forza, I don't disagree with you. You know, the thing about this is what I love. And I talk every 7 days, very consistent with Peter Miller, and he trains out at San Luis Rey, right? And, you know, bless everybody out there. Just kudos to that when they had the fire, 2 years ago? Like, I'll always remember that and watching those, seeing what happened. I love this little work here, though, 5 furlongs and just a nice, not bullet work, but really nice. And every 7 days, though, very consistent. So, you know, and what do we see here coming off the layoff? I mean, one here off a couple-month layoff. One, look at there. At Del Mar, it's not the same race. The Del Mar Mile. Mm-hmm. This is it. This horse won the Del Mar Mile last year off a 7-month layoff. Mm-hmm. And one going away by 4 lengths, coming off the speed. I mean, I'm with you here on, of course,
Flavian's ready to fire. He wins the race, but Count Again, the 5 can fly. And so if Mo Forza isn't ready, I think Count Again's the winner.
Yeah, I mean, you see here, and you are right. I think Peter Miller puts in Neptune Storm here to go with Smooth Like Straight.
I'm not taking chalk for once. It feels good.
I love it. I love it. When you look at Smooth Like Straight, I mean, there's nothing like amazing here. I mean, and it's going to have pace. I mean, it has won mainly in the 70s and just missed at 82 and 84. So he's a great horse, you know. So the issue is the pace, though. I'm with you. You know, it's interesting that next year's is the Scotty Longshot. I wouldn't be surprised. I wonder if something would change
maybe.
here. I love the morning line on. Look at Count Again, 5-1 versus or 6-1 versus 12.
Oh, Count Again is live. This horse is live. I love that he's 12-1 in the morning line. I
Jersey
think
Joe too.
He could run 6-5. I really do. And then whatever horse holds on for third, I really think that this is going to set up for a horse from off the pace. But Smooth Like Straight has a lot of heart. So I'm not trying to discount Smooth Like Straight's heart. And if I can go 3 deep, I'm adding the 3. But I think we're going to need some spreadage later.
We're just going to go 5-6 and hope for a price. I'm with you here. And the 6 obviously not being a price, but so we'll lock that.
Michael's asking, what do you think when the system singles the 4? The system just got these races uploaded, so it's still adjusting. So I guarantee in like an hour it won't be doing that.
Well, and so look here, it's wanting to go like all single, all. It does this sometimes. I know it's been kind of doing funky things. So I'm not, and we've talked, I think the ticket generator is a great tool, but when I see stuff like this sometimes, I like, and maybe it's right sometimes, I just think it's kind of out of whack when it wants to spread, single spread. And when I see it singling a 2% Scotty Longshot, I would guess that's a rare hit. I mean, I don't know that, but I can't imagine that that's like, I don't mind singling Scotty Longshots or singling like other angles and doing stuff at prices. But in a situation like that, I would struggle a little bit. Also from the perspective of this horse is stepping up. I mean, this horse hasn't won in, I don't even know. I mean, it's not even on the screen. I mean, it hasn't won in well over a year. So that would be a little bit of my struggle here. Can the horse win? I mean, I guess. I mean, it couldn't win in a 70 and a 72 and a 66. I mean, all of a sudden this horse wins. I mean, I don't know, I guess. But that's tough for me. So let's skip the 8th and like, because I didn't look at it. And then let's go to the 9th and talk about the Oaks. We'll look at the stakes. We'll probably end up just letting the system pick the horses in the 8th would be my guess based on our budget. So I haven't looked here. Did you already look at the Oaks?
Yeah, I did. I was too deep here. I went with just going global and Fluffy Socks on top, actually. I love this 7 horse. And 7-2, 4-1 is a perfect price in my mind. And this horse has won at Del Mar before. Irad rode this horse before. Joel's getting on board, who I actually think fits this horse a little bit better based on his running style because he needs a really strong closer to get him going in the stretch. This horse has finished second a couple of times when it looked like he was going to win, but she just got a little weary. She needed a little bit more concentration. Now that I hope she's a little bit older, I hope that this horse is ready to run straight through the stretch and not cause any inquiries. And so I thought Fluffy Socks was a major player here because Chad's sending her over from the East Coast, and she's won at Del Mar before. And, you know, Chad knows how to place fillies in grade 1s. And so for me, I went with the 7 on top, but I backed myself up with the 3. And because I think we're going to need some extra horses in the Pacific Classic.
So JJ on the 4. Was it Madone? Lightly raced. I mean, she's a nice horse. Simon Callahan, you know, didn't run in a 78 here in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf at Keeneland last year. Was on a good track or a good turf course. Broke her maiden at Del Mar, wins in a 70. I mean, won in a 70 here at Del Mar. I mean, she can win. I mean, for sure, I would say. I mean, she could for sure improve here. You know, the system, has her at 3-1 versus 5-2. That's tough at a 13% horse though, and not being in Scotty picks. Where do we have any morning line angles here? Not really. The 8 a little bit. The 6 is Scotty long shot. So let's look at the 6 real quick. So coming out of 60, so just a huge step up for Kyle Frey for Papa Mandela. I mean, took her a long time to broke her maiden. I mean, she's run well. She finally breaks her maiden. Then they drop her in a grade 3 66 and she can't win. And then she can't win in a 64. I don't love that. I mean, it's Scotty Longshot, but so I probably no 6. We won't even look at the 5 for Miller Sadia. Well, we should look 2%. So won a claiming race. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, what's going on here? I don't even. So let's talk about this for a second. Why is Peter Miller placing her here? I mean, comes from overseas. She broke her maiden, and then they drop her in a stakes race and doesn't run, and doesn't really run, and then she wins a claiming race, and all of a sudden she's ready for a grade 1. Like
Peter Miller, that's the Miller effect. It's Miller time. You know,
that's crazy.
That's the only thing I can think of here of why this horse would even come close to fitting. And I don't think she's a factor. I think it's. I don't know what it is. I think he's just entering a horse because he felt like it. I have no explanation for why this 5's in the field. I will not be using.
That might be the owners too. I mean, that's
could be
tough
some pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bravo on the 8. It was on the close to the pace here and wins, and then jumps up to a 70 in the grade 2 and runs a nice race. I mean, the 8 didn't run back here in the grade 3 Senorita though. I don't necessarily love the 8. The 1, somebody Rispoli. Michael, you like the Rispoli on the 1? I mean, this horse just doesn't want to win. Did win in a 58. You know, that's kind of a tricky thing there. Look at that. Wins a nice stakes race, but was state bred. So this is a California bred, yeah. So that's what I don't love here. I mean, wins in a 58, but can't win in these other races. That would be the tough part for me, Michael, on the 1. And is now open company again. So what's it, Javanica? DVD? Is Van Dykeman riding at Del Mar, Brady?
Yeah, he's been getting in some inquiries though. He's been riding tough. He's been riding like a bull, man. He's trying.
I mean, this horse doesn't like to win either. She just doesn't want to win. I mean, she wins a 64, but she couldn't win in the high 60s. Couldn't win in the set. Not for me. I'm with you on the 3 and 7. I do think the 4 is interesting.
I think we'll be able to afford it. I really
okay.
do.
I mean, not a great price and not a good win and not in the Scotties, but I think that the 4 definitely could run.
Mm-hmm.
I see what it was. It was trying to single the 6 down there. Okay. All right. Let's go to the
classic.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. You take us away here. I saw the post draw and I'm like, oh man, and I looked at the horses. I'm like, this thing's going to be tough.
It is. It's a wide open race of, I don't know how good these horses are yet. I don't think these are the best horses in the country by any means, but I was very, very short in this race because I think that if you can figure out who's going to win, you're going to get 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1 on whoever you pick, which is a great betting race. And if you can go skinny in a race like this, you're adding extra value. I had to go
Bob Baffert.
No.
Is Bob Baffert really 20 to 1 in this race?
Magic on tap, 20 to 1.
The system says
he
this horse
at Saratoga today named Fenway, and you know you're so used to seeing Johnny V on a Baffert monster re-break at the top of the stretch. Not today. Finished like 6th. It's great. It's freaking great. I'm not even using the Baffert. I'm not betting Baffert races. I'm boycotting them, honestly, for reasons. But we won't discuss that because I'm going with Dr. Post on top. Why is Todd Pletcher, who's running great horses at Saratoga, running Dr. Post at Del Mar, going 1.25 miles? There's a race the first week of November at Del Mar, going 1.25 miles, and he won it the last time he was in California with Vino Rosso. Now, I know a lot of people are comparing Dynamic One to Vino Rosso. Vino Rosso really didn't start running until his 4-year-old career. Why not with Dr. Post? Did Joel fly out here just to ride Fluffy Socks? Or did Joel fly out here to ride Dr. Post? You tell me. I'm using this horse on top, not singling a spread ticket by any means, because I think Express Train is going to be right there too with your boy JJ. And I'm a little bit scared of Independence Hall. 1, because he cost me winning the Pegasus. And number 2, because I haven't slept since.
I was really bummed to see that Flo is riding Independence Hall because it just always skews my view.
Windstar Farm.
But I do love that Flavian gets off of Independence Hall and decides to ride Tis a Magician. I'm with you on Express Train, though. I mean, with JJ is such a good jock. I mean, as much as I love Flavian, I love JJ almost not quite as much, but I do love JJ too. But he came down from Golden Gate, riding in Southern Cal, just riding great. I mean, 18%. And you look at Express Train here, this is a versatile horse too, which I love. I mean, has raced really well at 10 furlongs. I mean, look at the GSR. Gets a second and a third in an average of a 77, average overall of 76, and this is a 76. Express Train's for sure a player. I mean, 100%. And couldn't win a 78, couldn't win a 76, finished second in 80, has been winning at 72s. For sure could step up, and, you guys were talking a minute, Lawrence and Jay, about a pace and trouble trips in the last race, and I wasn't paying a ton of attention, so I think that's valid. But, here, Press dueled, broke out wide, held third. Here grudgingly, but here, gets caught at the end, here was going away. So in the Santa Anita handicap was the 80 going 10 furlongs. And you look here at 10 furlongs and, maybe it was wide. I would watch the Gold Cup. I think it's interesting, but I'm with you on the Express Train. I mean, all for using Dr. Post. Oh, what just happened? I ended up in the last race. So we're going to use Express Train and Dr. Post. Who else?
We don't have to use Independence Hall. I really think it's a 2-horse race unless Independence Hall wakes up. I just haven't I haven't slept since Independence Hall got third in the Pegasus. So there's a little bit of bias on my end for that.
Sheriff Brown's top GSR, but it has not gone 10 furlongs. Winning in mid-60s, can't run in a 72 at 8.5 at Del Mar, coming out of Sam Houston and Lone Star. I mean, gosh, how would Todd Fincher blow up the board here? Only 1% though. That's a bummer. Tis Magician gets Pratt, right? It's been going a lot longer. This horse didn't want to go 12 first. Yeah. But I don't know. But look, I mean, yes, was winning, but at very low levels. And here at 10 furlongs in the handicap on the front end, I mean, who's going with the 2 from a pace perspective? So is Pratt sending?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, Pratt will be sending. And then, Dr. Post is going to sit. And Express Train is. And I'm not even worried about the 4 Royal Ship. I don't see it here.
Yeah, there could be a lot of pace here, huh? I mean, looking at this, Pratt's probably sending here. And then it just becomes, I think JJ is going to sit a great trip. I really do with Express Train. Dr. Post as well. Going to be close, could sit a really good trip. I'm with you on Royal Ship. Mike Smith's riding. Wow. I just don't, won the Gold Cup, or just missing the Gold Cup. Won the Californian. So Independence Hall. So Flo's riding for McCarthy. I mean, this horse for sure fits here, right? Mm-hmm. So gonna be, the thing about that though is if we take Dr. Post and Express Train, they're all getting the same trip, right? I mean, aren't we saying that between Independence Hall, Dr. Post, and Express Train are gonna all get the similar trip? And that, I mean, for me, I would find it hard to add all three, but this horse has traveled a ton. Then you have Tripoli sitting off the speed. Somebody's going to have to go with Flavian. All these horses are going to be close. So,
yeah. All right. And going 10, I think going 10 furlongs, it's going to be, the pace is going to be obviously important, but I think that the class of Dr. Post and probably what Todd Pletcher expects of him is definitely going to show. And if not, Express Train's going to be running.
Niyama Group noticed like one of the most important things of the show. I do have a shirt on. It's only it's actually a really nice evening outside. It'd be we cool off here in Seattle. It's only been 75 to 80. We've had a great summer, but shirt's back on. House is cooled down. Steven thinks the 7 might hit the board. Yeah, I could see Independence Hall. How about, we talked Magic on Tap. Bob Baffert probably going to have this horse hitting the board somehow.
It's probably going to go gate to wire.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. All right. Let's get the finale. Then I got to bounce. I got to head over to a bonfire tonight. A little Thursday night.
Are you working tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. I work every day, man.
That's good.
Never stops.
Right. And then whenever we get here, the 8th race is the ticket generator is going to do it for us. So this race is wide open. So I hope that you have some. How about the one horse morning line 30 to 1 and 9 to 1 EquinEdge and 17%? We're 100% using the one horse. I don't care. I don't care who's on that horse. We're using that horse.
Yeah, for me it surfaced around United. From a class perspective alone, and him prepping for the Breeders' Cup Turf, United's the horse to beat for me. And so there's Arklow in the race as well, but and Arklow did win at Del Mar last time he was here, which was in the fall, at a 72 level. This is a 66 level, and so for me, it's between United and Arklow. I know that that's going really skinny. But a lot of these other horses I've seen before. I've seen Say the Word. I've kind of had enough of him. I've seen Acclimate. And I just think that he can beat up on these grade 3 and non-graded stakes. I've seen Masterpiece. This horse was claimed off of Chad Brown. I remember him as a Chad Brown runner. Now it's Mike McCarthy's problem. And I don't see it. I've seen Master of Foxhounds. And I'm thinking about the best possible race that those horses that I just mentioned could run on their best day. Because when you're trying to find a price of 10 or 12 to 1, going against these proven monsters, the horse is going to have to run like 2 Emmys. It's going to have to run the best race of its career. And so for me, I'm not a fan of Red King. I never have been. And so, he's probably going to be 3rd or 4th choice. So for me, I'm at United and Arklow. And yeah, I did take a look at the 1. And if you're upgrading the horse because of Rispoli, I totally get it. I don't know if he can match what United and Arklow can do, but I'm building my ticket around just the 4 and the 8, and yeah, it is McCarthy's problems, Nemo.
Media Blitz is interesting. I mean, just to look here. So, ran as a 2-year-old. It didn't run. I mean, actually did run okay there, but then didn't run. Goes as a 3-year-old, comes back. finally breaks his maiden in March, but something happened, right? So then comes back a year later this year, wins an allowance or misses an allowance, and then wins an allowance at 12 furlongs. This horse wants to go long all day. There is no way you're getting 30-1 here, but I think this horse could improve. I really do. I mean, now looking, I mean, this race is wide open, dude. Like, I get the United angle, right? I mean, and the SOR is all about it. I mean, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm Pratt's riding, so I guess I could be jaded.
I'm going to be definitely playing one ticket where I'm singling Mo Forza, Fluffy Socks, Dr. Post, and United, and I'm going to try to hit this thing for $5. I know I'm going to do that, but then I'm going to do our spread ticket as well.
How about the 9? So what's the pace here? And then we'll wrap it up real quick. So the 9 looks like it's going to be on the front end with JJ, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty much a given. So who's going? Not Arklow, obviously. Acclimate. Oh, Acclimate's
fast. Acclimate's very fast, and he's got one way of going.
So
that's pretty much the pace, those two on the front end. And when
7
we're going
and 9
11 like this, if they're going sub 50, you know, let's not get the Arlington Million pace. Let's not get the Belmont pace, you know. And I think that, you know, United sits such a tactical trip. And that's why I think this horse is so deadly, because I see United sitting probably 3rd or 4th in this race.
Media Blitz is winning this race. Calling it now. It's going to happen. Rispoli on Media Blitz. I mean, it's going to be a price. That's my pick of the day at Del Mar. And I haven't handicapped enough, but I think that lightly raced, this horse can improve. I think that Rispoli is, you know, bless this guy's heart. When we were at Del Mar, I felt so bad. Everybody knows, like, I feel bad when he tweeted that stuff out. I really did. I mean, you know, but I think he's going to sit a great trip. 1 here in a 62 can improve, like, can sit off the speed of the 7 and 9. I mean, is on the rail, but going 11 furlongs. Like, and I think he's going to work it out. He's not going to give the bad a ride. He's going to have, he's going to have me like sitting above him and going to be cheering him on or something. So.
Yeah. Film that, please.
All right. So I like the 1, you like the 4. Do we want to, I mean, we're going to spread in race 8 then, or do we want to add anybody else here?
I didn't think we needed. I'm good with 1, 4, 8, just in case Arklow sneaks up and wins this race again. I really thought, and then we can add in race 8. I'd say add as many as you can in race 8 for the budget.
Cindy likes the 2. The 2 here? Oh, the system likes the 2. The 2 is 6%. This horse is gonna be a bomber. We're gonna add the 2 just because Cindy likes the 2. That's what we're doing. And we have 2 bombers and 2 non-bombers. So we will go. There's the ticket. We're not singling, but that's okay. I love the 1. You like the 4 in the last. So somebody wants this single, they can either take my 1 as a price or they'll take your 4 as the potential winner. I could see United winning.
Mm-hmm. This guy's asking, do you ever hedge your bets? I never hedge. No hedge. No hedge.
The only time, you know, and it's funny because I've asked a lot of people this, and then we'll kind of end the show here because I know you got to go. But I've asked various people, and people have asked me, the only time I hedge is when I'm in for a big score. So I was in Vegas playing Gulfstream Park. This was when I first started using the tool. I don't even think the tool was out yet. And I'm like totally drawing a blank on the name, and I was hoping it would come to me. But it was a 6 horse at Gulfstream and ended up just blowing up the board. And it was only a pick 4, but I was live and I ended up hedging with win bets on a few horses because I think I was live to like 15 or 20 grand or something in a pick 4. And I didn't have cash in it. My hedges didn't hit, but that's the only time I hedge is if I have a really big score. And, you know, somebody told me, they're like, only hedge if you're going to win money. That was what somebody told me. Like, if I can place $100 win bet and I'm covering a 30 to 1 and a 50 to 1 and stuff like that. And if my ticket was $200 and I'm going to put in 500 more and I'm at 700, but I can win on those hedge bets. If I can win $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000, yeah, that's when I hedge. But outside of that, I roll with it. I'm with you, brother. I mean, I really roll with my picks.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Trust them. I mean, I don't hit probably as often as a lot of people do because I'm not trying to just cash a ticket. You know, I'm trying to make sure that the track doesn't invite me back after, you know, we've graced them with our presence. So, I mean, that's the way I like to be. You know, there's people, it's okay to, you know, spread and just try to cash and, you know, have fun at the track. But, you know, when I'm there, I'm trying to just single as many times as I can to try to really increase my value. So, hey, however anybody does it, do whatever makes you happy and whatever you have the most fun with.
Have fun in your bonfire. People are talking about Jack in the Box right now in Seattle, which is funny, but
no, it's getting cool over here a little bit in the evenings. And so I'm going to a bonfire, got work tomorrow. Then I got to come up with some weekend plans because they got canceled. So
Nemo, I don't trim the hedges, so that's okay. But it was a pleasure, dude. Like, even though we had to roll with it real quick, that was fun. I'm excited to play Del Mar Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching all day Saturday, I think. I was supposed to have my cousins over, but they had to cancel last minute. So I've got a free weekend for like the first time in a year. It's been a long time, I know that, but who knows? Might do something and watch the races. So good luck to everybody. Thanks for watching, and I guess we'll catch you next week.
All right, brother. See you soon. Thanks, everybody.